What's going on, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be showing you pretty much exactly how I create my short form content for Reels or TikTok or whatever that may be. Specifically, my more information heavy stuff that's short and punchy, has a hook, problem, and then solution. So let me show you how it's done. So I'll just give you a quick view of my setup. You'll have a view from behind and then you'll see the actual recording in front of me. But as you can see here, I've got my double screens, my mic, camera in behind with the light ring, and then my laptop's where I'm actually recording onto because the camera's plugged in directly and then I don't have to worry about messing around with memory cards or anything else. So yeah, but I will take it away from here. As you can see kind of on my screen over here, this is where I've kind of got my point form notes. I do more or less script these from the start because it's only 8 or 10 lines. It's pretty easy, and just want to make sure that they're really crisp, concise, and are gonna catch the viewer's attention. You can obviously go, just off the top of your mind if you want to, but then you might mess up. So it's all your comfort level. I like to go about it this way. It makes it a little more, as I said, clear, concise, and just to the point. So let me show you how it's done. Everybody's worried about just getting the whole thing out in one take, and you'll see why you don't have to do that. It seems like you're talking for the entire time, but you can actually break it down into one sentence at a time, and it's the editing that brings it together and makes it more fluent. So you'll probably see me make a ton of mistakes. I'm just going to keep everything in there just for, just to show you that you don't have to be perfect and that it's okay to make mistakes, and we can fix all those later. So let's get started. Here's a huge tip that changed my business forever. And I wish I had learned it way earlier in my career. It doesn't just work in real estate. It can be applied to any business. And it has to do with setting goals. Let me explain. Setting goals without a why behind them makes them far less powerful. So instead of creating the goal of selling 50 homes, instead of creating the goal of selling 50 homes this year, change the way you think about it to helping 50 families. By doing so, you create a real emotional connection to the goal. And on the days that you aren't feeling up to it and you just don't want to get out of bed, this will be a far greater driver than just simply putting another tally. This will be a far greater driver than just adding another check mark to your tally. So as I said, wasn't perfect. I'm gonna have to cut and chop it up, but it's pretty easy. I think it was only like, maybe a 2-minute recording, if that, and then we'll chop it down into 30 seconds, and I'll see you in a minute. All right, now I'm gonna quickly take you through the editing process. I'm not gonna get into special effects or anything like that, but just give you a general overview of what I like to do. So first of all, I use Filmora. You can use other softwares. This is my favorite, and I'll show you why in a minute, but make sure you're in the right aspect ratio or orientation, because if you're doing a short form, you wanna make sure you're 9:16. If it's widescreen, then 16:9. So any short form video like I filmed, you wanna be this one. So we're gonna create a new project, and then I have my file that I just recorded, saved, not here. I have it saved somewhere here. Let's find it. No, that's not the right file. All right, here we are. We're gonna drag this guy in here. Now for this file, what you'll notice is it's gonna show up sideways typically. So easy fix there. We're just gonna go in and go rotate 90 degrees. Then you're gonna see, if you like where it is or not. Typically I like to just zoom in a little bit, depending on where you're at. And then the next part, this is the key as to why I like Filmora. So we have this thing, it's called silence detection, and what this is gonna do is actually find all these silent points. So I like my settings like this, 0.4 seconds, 0.1 here, 25% volume threshold. I'm not gonna get into the details there, but I go like this, and voila. I can export it to my timeline, and all the dead sections have now been taken out. And if you remember in the video, obviously I had a few mishaps, but I can quickly see, just delete some of those sections. And then you're basically just going to edit and delete out any of the repeats and, you know, tighten up the gaps.
It doesn't just work in.
So I'm going to do that quickly, fast forward through it, and then show you the end product. Okay, so now that I'm done the editing, you're just going to go in here and hit the export button. If it ever loads, choose where you want to save it. Hit export, and then I will see you in a minute. All right, so now it's all done. Let's take a watch. Here's a huge tip that changed my business forever, and I wish I had learned it way earlier in my career. It doesn't just work in real estate, it can be applied to any business, and it has to do with setting goals. Let me explain. Setting goals without a why behind them makes them far less powerful. So instead of creating the goal of selling 50 homes this year, change the way you think about it to helping 50 families. By doing so, you create a real emotional connection to the goal. And on the days that you aren't feeling up to it and you just don't want to get out of bed, this will be a far greater driver than just adding another check mark to your tally. There we go. So there you have it. Obviously you can do little things, which I will talk about in future videos, such as pattern interrupts, adding captions, text, anything else like that. But for now, that is more than enough to get you started. So if you do have any questions, reach out. But otherwise, in the meantime, check out one of my next videos for some more tips on editing.